Well, sports fans, if you are a Buffalo Bills fan, then you are going to absolutely love this news. But if you are a Chicago Bears fan or a Raiders fan, you're probably not going to like it so much. And I'm going to explain how those three teams all connect together today on Daily Rumble Sports. Thank you so much for joining me. I am your host, Mike Dean. And today we are talking about the trade that just transpired between the Chicago Bears and the Buffalo Bills to move wide receiver DJ Moore over to the Buffalo Bills. Let's hear what Adam Schefter has to say about this. Before we move any further on this story, I do just want to say that the information that we are about to share with you is extremely sensitive. So viewer discretion is advised, and this may trigger you. That being said, I also want to say thank you to today's sponsor, which is Aura.com, because your information is most likely out there on the dark web and you probably don't even know it. But knowledge is power. If you know it's out there, you can help to get it erased. Aura.com can help you with that, and they have offered a special 14-day free trial to get your free report if your information or your loved ones is out there on the dark web, and that is only exclusive for us. So go down into the link of this video here and look for the Aura.com link 14-day free trial to find out if your information is on the dark web and learn about what you can do about it to keep you and your family safe. Now, let's get with the Colonel. Now, let's get back to the Lieutenant Colonel.
Shefty, DJ Moore has been traded to the Buffalo Bills. My intel on the situation, when I brought DJ Moore's name up to Brandon Beane when I was at the Combine with him, glowingly sang his praises, loved the way he played football. That was a conversation I had with him at Combine. I had no idea he was going to make a trade for a wide receiver, but here we are, the Buffalo Bills add DJ. How'd we get here? Why'd we get here? And what are your thoughts and what are people saying about it, Shefty?
Well, again, Buffalo was in the market for a wide receiver. And I think there's a little bit of a receiving race in the AFC East because you knew that Buffalo was going to be adding a receiver, and you know that New England is going to be adding some offensive weapons. So Buffalo strikes first and reaches agreement today with the Bears for a trade for DJ Moore. Now, again, we're still waiting for the compensation. My guess is it's going to be a draft pick, mid-round pick. We'll see how it works out. That should be out here fairly soon. But DJ Moore becomes the newest weapon and the kind of playmaker that the Bills are looking for. Again, they always were going to go out and get somebody like this. And you can make the argument DJ Moore was about as attractive as any wide receiver on the market. Chicago was ready to move on. They have their young receivers that they already do with Rome Odunze and Luther Burden and Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet. DJ Moore's a veteran, and now he goes on to the Buffalo Bills, where he played in Carolina with Joe Brady. Joe Brady knows what he's getting from having coached him in Carolina before Carolina traded him to Chicago as part of that deal that essentially got the Panthers the #1 overall pick. And the amazing part about that trade was that trade wouldn't have gotten done unless the Panthers included DJ Moore in that deal for the #1. That was the piece that clinched that trade. And now the Bears have taken that piece and are going to be sending him to Buffalo, where the Bills hope he's the missing piece to get to that game that they have not yet gotten to with Josh Allen at quarterback.
So we do know what the compensation is now. According to the latest reports, the compensation is that Buffalo is going to be sending a 2026 second-round draft pick to the Chicago Bears in exchange for Moore and a 2026 fifth-round selection, sources have now told Schefter. So the Bills will be guaranteeing $15.5 million of Moore's contract of $23.5 million base salary in 2028. Agents Drew Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey told Schefter Moore's $23.5 million base salary in 2026 is fully guaranteed, and his 2027 base salary, also $23.5 million, becomes fully guaranteed next week. The trade cannot officially be processed until the new league year begins next Wednesday. Now, this is really good for the Buffalo Bills, and I like this trade for them. They're giving up a second-round draft pick in order to get a top-notch, top-flight veteran wide receiver who's only 29 years old. So remember, DJ Moore was the main guy for the Chicago Bears, but then the Bears went out and they brought in a couple of young guys with Roman Dunze, etc. And it's a very crowded room in that wide receiver room. So they decided to go younger and save some money. One of the reasons why this is bad for the Chicago Bears is because one thing that DJ Moore brought you was that veteran leadership. So now you are basically throwing your entire wide receiver room responsibility on a bunch of second-year guys. And so that could be a little bit risky. It's sad if you're a Chicago Bears fan to see DJ Moore go. I know he was a fan favorite over there. But at the same time, they are clearing up some cap space. Now, why are they clearing up some cap space? And how does this involve the Las Vegas Raiders? Well, there has been a lot of rumors right now going around that the Raiders are in talks with the Chicago Bears for a trade along with some other teams. Now, this is really getting hot when Michael Silverman put out a article just yesterday in The Athletic stating that it's like a 99% chance that Maxx Crosby is going to be dealt. He's going to be traded from the Las Vegas Raiders. He doesn't want to be there. And it appears as though, as more information has come out, that the person who benched him the last 2 games was none other than John Spytek, not the coaching staff. And since John Spytek benched him, he now has some ill will towards John Spytek and the management of this team. So he wants out. He basically hasn't said it, and he's basically told a bunch of people that they need to just mind their own business. The problem is, he hasn't said outright that everything is fine and perfect and good to go and he's excited for the season. He has completely left that out. So the Raiders would be stupid, according to Michael Silverman, and again, don't shoot the messenger here, but according to Michael Silverman, I always forget his last name. I think it's Silver. He says that the Raiders have to be looking towards the future, and you're bringing in a first overall draft pick quarterback in Fernando Mendoza. You need to protect him much more than you need a defensive end. And being able to garner up the draft capital that you would, as well as freeing up a bunch of cap space by dealing Maxx Crosby, would be the perfect scenario. Now, how does this connect to the Chicago Bears? Well, the Raiders really need a veteran wide receiver, number 1, to come in and really solidify this wide receiver group. And so the hope was that the Raiders could work a deal with the Chicago Bears for DJ Moore, who they had some interest in. This would then solve, 2 problems with 1 stone, so to speak. So you deal Maxx Crosby to them. You get a first-round draft pick this year out of Chicago. It'd be a late-round draft pick. And then you would be able to get DJ Moore. So now you have an offensive weapon and you have another first-round draft pick all at the same time. You're freeing up a little bit of cap space. Now, obviously, bringing in DJ Moore, you're not going to free up a whole bunch. I think it would have freed up like $7 or $8 million only, but still, that's $7 or $8 million more that they can go out into the free market and they can really solidify that offensive line with some studs like Lindenbaum, etc. So the question really is now, with DJ Moore gone, is the Chicago trade with Maxx Crosby as attractive as it was last week? Well, probably not. So there's other suitors for Maxx Crosby. We'll see where all of that shakes out. We are expecting something to happen within the next day or 2, if it's going to happen at all. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and we'll keep you informed as soon as it happens.